there. And I know at some point Dave Roberts said he wants to have the crowd noise, and it will be piped in at Dodger Stadium. MLB.com earlier tonight was streaming the Rangers intra-squad game. They had not only crowd noise piped in, they had the actual PA guy who was announcing each player's name as they came to bat, and they had the crowd noise cheering each batter as they came to the plate. They were cheering when there were strikeouts, when there were base hits, and it actually sounded somewhat like a game.
Well, I think it's a good idea. I think if Jerry was playing, would they go boo every time he came to the plate, which would be nice, but
not all the time.
But they also, I'm more curious to see with the opposing team, will they also pipe in that type of noise as well? But you know, trying to do as best they can to make it feel as close as a real game as possible. Not easy to do under all the circumstances everyone is dealing with.
Well, let's head back to the stadium. Alana, what do you have for us?
Well, you guys were just talking about people booing, and it's funny because we actually have two MLB umpires here tonight. When they were walking over to the home plate area, some of the Dodgers over here on the first base side were booing them, obviously. All in fun, in jest, but Dave Roberts mentioned these two guys are going to be here tonight for the remainder of these inter-squad games. Once exhibition games begin on Sunday, we will have a full MLB crew. So Bob Guerin's days behind the plate, they are done. Although we heard that about Chico, too, and Chico keeps getting in the lineup. So
that is true. Yeah, Chico was supposed to be done as of Sunday, but he's been in the lineup now both games since Dave Roberts said his playing days were over for the Dodgers. Now we have some baseball. Victor Gonzalez, first pitch to Kike Hernandez, misses 1-0, but it's probably nice no more to have Major League umpires back in there for these games. Not just for the umpires to get used to some reps as well, but also the players having an actual Major League umpire. It was nice to have Bob Guerin fill in, but, you know, Bob Guerin's a bench coach, not exactly a guy who calls balls and strikes on the regular.
Well, and I think Bob Guerin's probably legs and body probably says thank you very much to be back out there as well, but he has filled in admirably as well, so thank you, Bob Guerin. But, yes, just to, like we're saying, we're talking about piping in noise, we're talking about getting fan cutouts out there. Well, you need umpires as well out there, so it's good to get that feel as best you can.
Speaking of feel, Gonzalez is trying to figure out a way to get back in the count 3-0 against Kike Hernandez.
The second start of intra-squad play for Victor Gonzalez. He started last Wednesday. Gave up 1 run in his couple of innings. It's a 4-pitch walk for Kike Hernandez.
Step in that batter's box.
And the music did that?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure Nomar stepped into the batter's box in the right frame of mind, even without the music. Because what did you do on the road, Jerry, if you didn't have your walk-ups on?
Oh, I had music in my head, John.
You have a lot of things in your head there.
Right on cue. Well, Gonzalez gets a strike in there, his first one of the night, facing Will Smith now. That's a strike, 0-2. So on Sunday, Will Smith went deep off of Ross Stripling. That was Ross Stripling's last pitch of the night. It was a changeup, but Ross Stripling really showed a tremendous changeup all night long. That was not his best one, but he got a lot of punch-outs via that changeup he's been working on.
It's amazing. You can be so dominant with a pitch, looking great all night. You make one mistake, big league hitters will make you pay for it.
And Ross is thinking, really, that's the one pitch that you show? It's 7 strikeouts in that game. Really good outing from him.
Well, Gavin Lux thanked us for showing that one.
That's true. Lux went down 3 times against Ross Stripling, but it was the first chance for Gavin Lux to get into one of these intra-squad games.
Just looking at Gonzalez, that running fastball away to the right-handed batter, that looks dirty. Pretty good job there by Will Smith to foul it off.
He had a breakout season last year in the minors. He's now 24 years of age at Tuxpan, Mexico, and he just got a punch out of Will Smith there for out number 1. Let's check in again right now with Alana.
Circling back, guys, to Ross Stripling's changeup, I asked Dave Roberts earlier today what he's noticed about the progress of that particular pitch, and he changed his grip over in the first spring training that they had, spring training 1.0, if you will. He said it's really coming along as far as adding that to his arsenal. Now, as far as Kershaw's changeup is concerned, that's certainly a work in progress, and he's been working on that a little bit the last couple of years. It's very much a field pitch for Clayton Kershaw. This is the best time to experiment with it, obviously, in an intra-squad game, but Dave Roberts acknowledging both of those guys, kind of adding that to their repertoire.
Thank you very much, Alana. Edwin Rios checking in. Edwin Rios, 3 home runs last week in intra-squad play, the most of any Dodger hitter so far, including one off of Clayton Kershaw Sunday night. Let's check in with Ned right now. Ned?
This is a pretty good matchup right here. I like Gonzalez. I like the arm slot. He's got a good strikeout to walk ratio. Rios may be the most impressive young player, in my opinion, in the camp so far. Good matchup here. A little left on left here for Rios.
Gonzalez ahead 0-2 against Rios. Takes care of him. Strike 3 called. So back-to-back strikeouts from Gonzalez.
The other thing, you can't get mad at Bob Guerin now if he punches you out. You're like, this is a big league umpire punching you out, and that ball was in the bottom of the zone. It was a great pitch by Gonzalez.
After that leadoff walk, Gonzalez seems to settle in right here, striking out Will Smith and now Rios. Pretty good slider right there.
He's certainly an interesting candidate to possibly be on the roster at some point this season. He had never pitched above low A in his professional career since being signed in 2012, 8 years ago. But then last year he started in high A ball in Rancho, pitched really well there, then went to Tulsa, was awfully good there, and eventually to AAA Oklahoma City. His ERA was 2.31 across those 3 levels.
Wow.
Big swing and a miss right there, 0-2. This is DJ Peters at the plate. Let's check in again with Ned.
We talked about this the other day. Young pitchers having command and being able to command the strike zone and really get ahead of hitters. And that's what he's been able to do after that first walk. He's been able to do in the last couple guys ahead, here, 0-2. And really last year pitched ahead too. Pretty good inning right there.
Winds up striking out the side after the leadoff walk to Kike Hernandez. We're going to the bottom of the first at Dodger Stadium with Mookie, Seager, and JT about to the Dodgers here in the bottom of the first inning. He's wearing number 66, Yasiel Puig's own number. And Puig's in the news today, signing with the Atlanta Braves, or at least agreeing to a deal to join the Bravos. First batter that Mitchell White's going to face tonight, Mookie Betts, leading things off for a very stacked home squad lineup here, be followed by Corey Seager, Justin Turner, and then Cody Bellinger. First pitch strike.
Good to see Mitchell White attack the strike zone. That's a pretty good fastball hitter, and Mookie Betts.
Fastball last year, 92 to 96 on the radar gun. The slider, cutter, curveball, which we saw there. Been working on a changeup to throw to left-handed batters. Tries to elevate the fastball there. Let's check in again with Ned.
You look at this Dodger team and you look at the big league club that you think is going to break when the season begins, but you also look at a guy like White, a guy like Gonzalez.
Mookie Betts just goes down and gets it and golfs it into the bullpen there in left field for a leadoff home run here in the bottom half of the first inning. His second home run in intrasquad play.
I tell you what, this is not a bad pitch here by White. You're going to see this ball down in the zone, a breaking ball. That's down at his ankle. Wow. That's why this kid is so special. I mean, maybe you get a knock out of that, but for him to drive it about 395 feet, impressive.
The air high fives there in the dugout. Well, things don't get any easier now for Mitchell White, facing Corey Seager, who's been swinging probably the hottest bat of anybody the last 10 days at summer camp. Corey Seager meeting the media before tonight's game. Let's check in with Alana. She's got more on Seager.
John, Dave Roberts said that this is the most locked in that he has ever seen Corey Seager, as we've all been commenting during these intra-squad games. And I asked Corey what he attributed the success to in this intra-squad time. He said, honestly, I had an extended offseason. And, of course, the fact that this is his first offseason that he really could get into the strength training he wanted to get into because he wasn't dealing with any sort of injury. But he also joked that it was kind of lucky, and I don't believe that for a second with Corey Seager. But he said, he's happy to get hits. He did have a few extra ABs, was able to work out here at Dodger Stadium over the course of the COVID offseason as well. And he said he's maybe a tick above everybody else as far as the position players and getting their timing down. But it's been a heck of a last couple of years for Corey dealing with the injuries. He's not having to do that this year, and it's certainly shown in the box.
Certainly is showing in the box, and finally had a normal offseason as well where he wasn't rehabbing any injuries. And he looked awfully good back during Cactus League play as well, and he's continued to hit. That one is hit sharply, but field a nice scoop there at first base for the out.
Like I said, you'll take that. Yes. Talk about hitting that ball hard the other way. It's when you're doing that in spring training, you'll take those at bats. You want to save the hits for the season, but you know that your bat is on the right path, your body is in the right position, and you're squaring it up.
Here's Justin Turner up there with one run already on the board and one away. It is strange to see number 66 and have a name other than Puig out there on that back of that jersey, but it's Mitchell White's number right now. There's the 1-0 to Turner, bounces one in the dirt. Let's check in again with Ned.
This is quite the inning here for Mitch White. When you think about it, you got Mookie, then you got Seager, now you got JT pitching at Dodger Stadium. You're getting a full show right here, kid.
This is off the plates, 3-0. When the Dodgers drafted Mitchell White in 2016 out of Santa Clara, he signed and immediately went to play at rookie ball, was good there, then low A, then high A Rancho, in the Arizona Fall League. He did not allow an earned run in any of those four stops after signing in 2016, then came back in 2017, worked his way up to Tulsa, had an ERA about 2.5 there, and seemed like he was on his way, and then had some injury issues in 2018, back issues, bit of a sore arm at times, broke a toe on his left foot, also battled some inconsistency issues, and tried to get back to what he was showing in 16 and 17.
You can see the stuff is there. You can see why the Dodgers are high on him when he's healthy. Pretty good fastball, running away to the left-handed batter, good breaking ball. You mentioned this lineup, Mookie, Corey Seager, JT. Oh, by the way, the reigning MVP, Cody Bellinger, next.
And then Jock Peterson's next now. All he did was hit 36 home runs last year as a part-time player. Not a lot of breathing room in this lineup, but this is what a lot of other major league pitchers will be having to deal with this year. Then you're going to add in Max Muncy as well. He should be getting closer to getting some at-bats in an intra-squad game. Let's check in again with Ned.
He's interesting in that he's not afraid of using the breaking ball. A lot of young pitchers, they'll just stay with their fastball, continue to use it. You saw the elevator right there with the 0-2 pitch. But he's got a live arm and some live stuff right there. Breaking ball right there.
Cody Bellinger just goes the other way. A huge hole on that left side, has himself a single. So first and second now with one away.
Is this pretty good hitting here, Nomar?
The breaking ball was up, which is great. So you want to be able to capitalize on that. But yes, because a lot of times when you see a breaking ball up in the zone, your eyes get huge, and you have a tendency to pull off of that and really try to hit it as far as you can on your pull side. But no, he just goes the other way and drives it the other way. So yes, I like it when Cody Bellinger is driving the ball the opposite way.
Here's Jock Peterson.
You know, we know Jock Peterson had so much success against right-handed pitching leading off. But I think he likes maybe hitting down in the order because he's going to have a lot of RBI opportunities. You know, I mean, Cody Bellinger hitting in front of him. Obviously, Justin Turner. A lot of guys are going to be on base when he's at the dish.
And we know Dave Roberts likes to use a lot of different lineups. And what we see tonight with Betts and then Seager in the 2-hole could be what we see during the regular season a lot. That's going to be one of the questions. Where do you put Seager in the lineup? Does he hit second? Is it Max Muncy in the 2-hole? It's going to be interesting to see what kind of combinations Dave Roberts goes with.
You talked about it earlier, John. They're Texas Rangers pumping in that crowd noise. I'm texting Nick Solak. He's an infielder with the Texas Rangers. He went to my high school. He says they love it. It feels more normal to them. And anything that makes a player feel normal on the baseball field, you go with it.
Mitchell White does get a strike there. It's 3-1. And we saw the speakers earlier. They are there at Dodger Stadium. They are set up. And Dave Roberts said earlier today they're going to start piping in that crowd noise this week to get a feel for what it's going to be like when the real games begin a week from Thursday, opening night against the Giants. That 3-1 pitch is lifted high and deep to right field. Jock Peterson with a 3-run shot. It is a 4-run bottom of the first inning right now. And that's probably going to be it for the first inning for the home side. It looked like Mitchell White might be walking off. I'm not sure. And it is, because we see Victor Gonzalez going back out to the mound. So 23 pitches is enough for Mitchell White, but 4 runs across. A couple of home runs, one by Mookie Betts, capped by that 3-run blast by Jock Peterson. 4-0 home squad. We'll have the second inning right after this. Will Smith, Edwin Rios, and then DJ Peters. Gonzalez has a 4-run lead to work with. The top of the second inning after the home runs by Betts and Jock Peterson. That sweeping breaking ball from Gonzalez.
We talked about it last half inning. Jock Peterson having a lot of guys in front of him getting on base. Instead of those solo shots he's been hitting, he's going to be hitting a lot of 2- or 3-run homers.
I think a lot of the guys in the Dodgers lineup are going to have base runners out there when they come to the plate.
That's a great feeling, man.
2-2 to Luke Raley. Let's check in again right now with Ned.
And to you guys' point, too, I think as the season goes on, I don't see the pitching getting better from the opposition. So I think the Dodgers are going to start strong, and I think the longer the season goes on and they've got something to play for and some other teams won't have much to play for, I think you'll continue to see a lot of offense out of the Dodgers.
And you might see a lot of offense, Jerry, if we see the same baseball that we saw last year during the regular season. And not that what Jock and Mookie just did, there's any sign of what kind of baseball they will have this year, but it's a game changer if they have that same kind of baseball they had last year. When the Dodgers set the National League record for home runs in a season with 279, just absolutely obliterated the previous National League record.
If there was ever a year or half a year to experiment on the baseball, making sure that it's like a Titleist golf ball, yeah, I think this is it. Not a whole lot of fans in the stands, obviously. You got to make sure you have viewers come to their TV sets and watch the games. How you do that? 3, 4, 5 homers a night. That might be the possibility.
Well, we saw the Dodgers hit 8 on opening day last year as Gonzalez has his 4th consecutive strikeout, getting Raley to begin the second inning.
The title is written on the ball.
Fastball there from Victor Gonzalez. Looked like he had a little bounce in his step right there. Getting some confidence. Let's check in right now with Oral.
You know, I'm really liking Victor Gonzalez's rhythm, and he has tremendous strength in his hand to be able to throw that turbo breaking ball. It's not just a normal breaking ball. It looks like it has an extra gear to it. And then the fastball, if he's able to live by the knees and then elevate, it could be really good.
Zach McKinstry has himself. He's going to hold on to a single going the other way. We've seen McKinstry do that quite a bit in the last week in these intra-squad games, hitting the ball the other way and having success.
This is Skip Schumacher right here. This is old school Skip Schumacher. Going the other way, pretty good swing. Good approach, a little lefty on lefty.
It's first base hit against Gonzalez after 4 consecutive strikeouts. Rocky Gale at the plate right now. Let's check in with Ned.
I think it's a great sign when you got your left-handed hitters going the other way. We've seen Corey Seager do it the entire last week or so. We saw Bellinger earlier tonight. Just saw that one right there. I think when left-handed hitters use the entire field, any hitter really, but when they use the entire field, I think it tells you that they're on. They're seeing the ball well. They're not trying to do too much with it. They're not getting pole happy. They're just trying to put the ball in play, and you do that left-handed hitter, you're going to get a lot of hits.
Rocky Gale was a late addition to the lineup. The lineup's completely changed from what we saw earlier this afternoon, the ones that were sent out to us and we posted on social media, but that's what happens in intra-squad games. They flip the home side and the visitor side. Anthony Garcia was taken out of the lineup. Chris Taylor was scratched. Rocky Gale inserted to play first base. And Chico back in there once again. You just cannot get rid of him. He's not batting after Rocky Gale. Still not going to get an AB during intra-squad play, but he's playing left field again.
I think Doc Roberts is really impressed with the interviews that Chico has been given on a national scale. He saw him on TV and he said, you know what, this guy acts and sounds like a big leaguer. I'm going to make sure he gets into the lineup. May not get in a bat, but he'll be out there playing left field.
1-2 to Rocky Gale.
I'm sure Dave Roberts appreciates that he's ready every day. You know, he may be told, hey, you're having tomorrow off, but no, he's still ready to play. And he's like, hey, if you want to write me in, I'm ready. And gotta love that.
That's what you like in a veteran clubby, right? He's got to be ready any minute.
Yeah, I've sent Dave Roberts about 6 to 7 texts over the last couple weeks offering my services to go out there and help the team out. And he's not returned one of my texts, John.
Not surprising.
No. Ned, what do you have for us?
Well, I know Dave Roberts knows his baseball, obviously proven by that one more time. You know, it's when you do hire, you know, when you hire clubhouse guys, you got to hire guys that are versatile. You got to have guys that can not only do what they need to do inside the room, but also on the field. You never know.
And guess who hired Chico? Ned Coletti.
Yeah.
That's right.
I hired you too, Jay. Don't, you know,
Well, 1 out of 2 is not bad.
1 out of 2
Ned.
ain't bad. Chico was a little less expensive too, I think.
Oh, goodness.
As I recall, might have been a touch less expensive. He's still playing.
That is true. That is true. Jerry, don't leave.
Miss you, Jay Hare.
You guys are making me cry.
Miss you, Jay Hare.
I miss you too, Ned.
Rocky Gale drives one the other way. That one is trouble.
Just foul.
Just foul down that right field line. Flirting with extra bases.
There he is.
Chico, Francisco Herrera. He's got the mask on. And actually, he's more than just a club. He's more than just a left fielder. Alex Wood was saying the other day that he believes Chico's been the real MVP of the squad, especially during the shutdown, because he's a pretty good bullpen catcher, and he was catching Alex Wood and some of the other guys as they were throwing bullpens during the shutdown.
And he throws batting practice to guys.
Throws his money
Does
BP.
it all. Hey.
Great BP thrower.
The Dodgers have always had great guys in the clubhouse, great ball boys, great ball girls. They always do. Athletic and work so hard under the radar.
He's been so good, he might get his last name on his jersey pretty soon instead of his first name. Rocky Gale wins that battle against Victor Gonzalez. Now 2 on with 1 away. Let's check in again right now with Alana.
Guys, Bill Plunkett with the OC Register wanted me to ask Ned if he remembers that Victor Gonzalez was one of 5 Mexican prospects that Los Angeles signed on the same trip that they scouted Yasiel Puig in 2012, as well as Julio Urias. So, Ned, what do you remember about all that?
I remember that we had a tremendous 3 or 4 months. We had new ownership on May 1st of 2012, drafted Corey Seager. A little while after that, signed Corey, then signed Yasiel, and then went back into Mexico and signed Julio and Gonzalez and young catcher. I can't recall his name right now, but we got back into the international market, and it's paid dividends ever since.
It was quite a year there in 2012.
Wasn't a bad few months.
Kike Hernandez rips that one to left center field. It is off the base of the wall. That will score Zach McKinstry. And Rocky Gale pulls up at third base on the double by Kike Hernandez.
Kike does a good job staying on this ball. This ball was down in the zone. It was closer to the outer half, but it was middle outer half. He keeps his head down, extends the arms, and drives it.
I really love Kike's approach this spring and summer 2.0. That pitch was down, but like you said, Nomar kept his hands back, able to fire those hands, square it up.
Here's Will Smith. RBI opportunity for the Fresh Prince. Good swing there. Fouls it back. Will Smith has homered in his last 2 intra-squad games. Dave Roberts says, as a big league hitter, he's probably somewhere between the ridiculously red-hot hitter we saw the first couple months last year when he came up and the cold guy that we saw in September and then October. That's a middle ground there from Will Smith.
I think the second half was just a mental grind. You know, it could be a mental grind for any rookie, but especially a guy that's behind the plate and has to man that pitching staff. I think Will Smith learned an awful lot last year and ready to have a really good sophomore season.
1-1 pitch to Will Smith is grounded left side. JT goes across the diamond for the out. Rocky Gale scores to make it 4-2 in favor of the home squad. Let's check in with Ned.
That's a real good point, Jay. Here, I think the catching position for me has always been defense first. How you think, how you prepare, how you can get a pitcher through a tough inning. I think that Will Smith obviously had a lot of education last year, and more to come this year.
Victor Gonzalez reaches his pitch count for the inning. We're going to the bottom of the second, a 4-2 game. Victor Gonzalez gave up a pair of runs in the top half of the second inning. You see the tape there in the dugout on the bench. They're practicing their social distancing. It's part of the new norm here in this 2020 season. Players will be distanced in the dugout, and players who are not in the game, we're expecting to see them sitting in the stands, maybe somewhere around the cardboard cutouts of Jerry and the other fans that buy the cardboard cutouts.
True. And I love what the players have been doing, man. They have done an excellent job of social distancing, making sure they keep each and everybody safe. The players some of the players throughout Major League Baseball, not the Dodger players, voiced a little bit of their displeasure early on, but now it seems like Major League Baseball has really stepped it up and done an excellent job making sure that the players, the staff, and everyone around the organizations are safe.
Mitchell White facing Austin Barnes here to lead off the bottom half of the second inning. Bit of a bumpy first inning for White. Gave up 4 runs, recorded 1 out. Quite the learning experience, I imagine, Nomar, for some of these young pitchers we have seen pitching at Dodger Stadium. Probably the first time in their lives, and it is a competitive situation.
Hey, first of all, getting just the environment of Dodger Stadium is special. With fans or not with fans, that's a special feeling. But then you have to face this lineup as well. So you're talking about going, all right, if I'm going to learn something, so I got to deal with all this emotions and anxiety and nerves and excitement and, facing one of the best lineups in all of baseball. Got a piece of them. Gosh, did it get that little mass piece right there? You may have.
Looks like it did clip him, and he's taking his base.
Ooh, it did.
Yeah.
That's why they wear that.
That's why it's there. Look at that. He's looking at the shield, seeing if it left a mark.
with Austin Barnes knowing and realizing the importance to make sure your face is intact. No scars or anything on that face. Pretty good job there.
Helps as well that it was a breaking ball and not a 95-mile-an-hour fastball that Mitchell White can run up there. Here's Gavin Lux. He goes the other way on a line. That's going to drop down in front of Chico for a base hit. Chico not able to come up with that one. Has to feel good for Gavin Lux.
You can hear one of his teammates yell out, "Somebody get the baseball." His first hit of the season right there. They will dump it right in front of Chico, Gold Glove caliber left fielder. He'll take that knock.
Among the clubbies, he's got to be the runaway Gold Glove winner. Certainly has a rocket arm. But yeah, Gavin Lux, he went 0 for 5 in his debut on Sunday with 3 strikeouts against Ross Stripling. So he'll take a knock right there. Feels good.
You know, Jerry, these guys are the clubhouse guys. You and I both know how great they are,
yes,
and how important they are, and how much, you know, we as players appreciate them so much and what they do. And, you know, these guys behind the scenes, you know, cleaning the shoes, they're cleaning your uniform. They are doing so much behind the scenes. Is Chico cleaning his own shoes or his own uniform? I hope someone's like, I got that for you.
Let's check in with Ned.
One of the great clubhouse stories of all time is Mitch Poole, who's been the Dodgers clubhouse guy on both the home and visitor side for decades. 1988 World Series. Kirk Gibson was getting loose downstairs, wasn't expected to play. He saw Mitch Poole. He said, "Go tell Tommy Lasorda I'm game for the moment." And we know what happened next.
Yes, we do.
I think it wasn't Mitch Poole putting the ball on the tee for him as well.
Yes,
he was.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They do that.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
Clubbies do
they are
that.
so important, and we know that. They're great.
Ned Colletti was in the A's dugout, standing over there in the A's dugout, waiting for the final out to get, I believe it was Tony La Russa for an interview after the game, Ned, and then Kirk Gibson hits the home run and changes everything.
Change the scenario just a little bit and rewrote history for a long time.
Matt Beatty goes down on strikes. First out of the bottom half of the second inning. Back to the top of the order, Mookie Betts led off the game for the home squad with a solo shot into the bullpen. His second home run into that bullpen beyond the left field wall.
And it was a breaking ball with that home run. I wonder if he starts him off here with the breaking ball. Make sure that I'm not afraid to throw this pitch.
Takes one down right there. Betts led off the game on Saturday afternoon with a home run against Josiah Gray. Gets one off Mitchell White tonight. Here's a look at his first time up. It's that breaking ball down. Some little punch 7-iron over the wall in left field. A snap hook like Jerry on the
Easy job.
second tee at the Oaks. All 3 to Betts.
You have to have tremendous hands and bat speed to be able to kind of keep those hands back and then fire that bat head through the zone at the last second, drive that breaking ball that would have hit the dirt over the wall.
White here, you got 37 pitches,
Oh.
number 38 right there.
Mookie, oh my goodness, Chico does it again. Are you kidding me? They throw back
Double
to
play.
first and they turn a double play. The legend of Chico.
Continues. The legend
Francisco Herrera just robs Mookie Betts of extra bases and they turn it into a double play. Are you kidding me?
He's going to make this team, John. He's going to make this team.
We got to get a bat in his hands. Let's go. Top of the third. This is how the bottom of the second ended. And Nomar can hear Clayton Kershaw already walking into Dave Roberts' office and saying, hey, you know what, with this DH thing, maybe you let me bat and you put Chico out there just for defense.
There's definitely going to be some discussion. I mean, he right now, we were talking about guys who have so far have had a great spring training 2.0. Well, I think at the top of the list, you got to give it to Chico.
We talk about passing the baton. We just saw Mitch Poole right there talking to Chico. Mitch Poole passing the baton to Chico right there. There's Mitch right there.
And you know what he's telling him? He said, you know what? You're doing this for all of us.
Yes.
All of us who have been in the clubhouse, been doing the duties, and
it's like Magic Johnson passing it to Michael Jordan. Remember in the 80s and early 90s.
Well, we know Mitch Poole probably has the greatest collection of bobbleheads of anyone on the planet, and so Chico's probably telling him, you know, pretty soon you're going to have my bobblehead in your collection.
And you know, Mitch Poole is artistically gifted as well.
Yes,
and there are times where he draws things on baseballs as well. So there will be guys, if you have a momentous occasion in the baseball, he'll do an unbelievable drawing on it as well. So he has that talent. No, it's pretty great.
Edwin Rios grounds out to Matt Beatty. That's how we begin the top half of the third inning. DJ Peters coming to the plate. There's Mitch Poole.
Great guy. One of the best guys in baseball.
Been with the organization for a long time.
Let's see DJ get into one right here.
Oh. DJ Peters is plunked by one, our second hit batter of the game.
I said to get into one, not to get hit by one.
Oh.
Ooh, right in the kneecap. That does not feel good.
And new rules, no fighting. So he can't. It's interesting how they had to write that into the rules for this year, because isn't that kind of always been the rule?
The suspensions could be a little more severe given the pandemic, health and safety protocols, and all that these players are doing to try to remain healthy. And it's not going to be easy, especially with the travel teams taking road trips. They're not playing in a bubble. Visiting other cities. In the Dodgers' first road trip, they're going to Houston, which has been devastated recently by COVID-19. And from there, they go to Arizona, a state that has seen its numbers soaring as well. Hospitalizations going up. Everybody can stay safe. Luke Raley swings through one. It's 1-2.
Well, the one thing is with Major League Baseball, and Nomar, you know this, and Oral, Ned too, is when you travel, obviously you're traveling privately. You're on your own plane with your own staff. And hopefully they'll be able to obviously have their own bus on their way to hotels and have that fumigated. Make sure that everybody stays safe in their hotels.
DJ Peters holds on at first. Let's check in again right now with Ned.
We talked about Mitch Poole and Chico and somebody else that's behind the scenes that's going to have a lot of responsibility is the director of team travel, Scott Akasaki, because he's going to have to make sure that do everything he can to make sure every leg of a trip, every aspect of moving people, moving luggage is secure and in the right spot.
That is very true. And Major League Baseball has wanted all of these teams to. There's a ground ball to first. It is off Matt Beatty's glove. And we've got two on now with one away. It'll be, not that there's an official score. Jerry, we'll let you be the official scorer here. Is this a knock for Luke Raley?
I got to look at this again. This may be a tough hop here. You have to charge it. That is, you know what? I'm going to give Luke a hit. That is a tough hop. It may hit the lift right there. Tough play for Beatty. We know he's sure-handed. Let's give the kid a knock.
Yeah, Major League Baseball wants these teams to have their players stay on the low levels of these hotels so they don't even have to get on elevators. They're trying to think of as many ways to reduce possible infection, exposure to people with coronavirus. 2 on, 1 out for McKinstry. And I don't even know if the Blue Jays have found out whether they're going to be able to play their home games in Toronto. I know they were given special government approval just to practice at Rogers Center for the time being. But as of a couple days ago, they were still awaiting word to see if they'd be allowed to play their home games there.
But they're not even allowed to leave Rogers Center either, right?
No,
correct.
I think it's a $750,000 fine.
Yeah. That was what was reported.
Right.
And potential jail time if players were seen outside the bubble at the ballpark. Now, granted, they do have a Marriott hotel there at the Rogers Center. They have restaurants. But as Travis Shaw, and he created a little bit of a storm, he was tweeting out about it. And he said, we were told 2 weeks, not all summer. And he said, all summer is a bit much. He said, it's not going to happen. It's not an option. McKinstry gets into one to straightaway center, but Cody Bellinger has it on the track for the second out. DJ Peters tags up and heads over to third.
We saw McKinstry go the other way in his first at-bat. We were talking about he's been doing that a lot that we've seen here in the inter-squad games. But this one, it was impressive because this ball was really in, and him to be able to get the barrel to the ball where this pitch was, and not only just get the barrel to it, but to drive it to center field. I mean, this ball was in. Those types of pitches right there where that location is. Sometimes you're fouling that off and you're fouling it off your shin. But him to stay inside to drive it to center was impressive.
Really good barrel control.
He was really impressive during the spring. Hit over 400 in Cactus League games. Had a lot of opportunities. Squaring up a lot of baseballs here. Mookie Betts racing toward the line. Has it for out number 3 in the top half of the third. Nothing across for the visiting squad. 4-2, favor of the home team. We're back at the bottom of the third after this.
It honestly has been a blessing. You know, it's kind of the silver lining like that. Just to be able to kind of get back to the physicality that you want to. You know, I felt like I was there. I felt like I was ready in spring training, and I was definitely ahead of where I've been the last couple of years. But those few extra months definitely did help a lot.
And Corey Seager will step in to lead off the bottom half of the third, Nomar. And Corey Seager, he talked about it there. He looked awfully good during the spring as well. And I know spring numbers don't matter. There's another line drive off of his bat right at Chico for the out. But he continues to hit everything on the screws, seemingly.
Squaring it, and that's exactly what you want to continue doing. And like I said, right there, great at-bat. Once again, going the other way. Save the hits for the season. Also, read the scouting report. Don't hit it to Chico. But at the same time, he does look healthy. We've seen him in these intra-squad games, even taking extra bases, diving head first in the third base. We're like, listen, take it easy, Corey. Let's make sure you stay healthy. But that also lets you know when you see a player doing that they're feeling pretty good.
And we know Corey Seager, a healthy Corey Seager, is an MVP candidate. Can do everything with the baseball bat, drive the ball out of the ballpark, hit for high average. Good to see him back to being the Corey Seager we saw a couple years ago.
The other guy who can do pretty much everything with the bat is this guy, Justin Turner up there. It's 2-0. Let's check in again with Ned.
It's pretty impressive when you look at these two teams. It's an inter-squad game, scrimmage. You look at all the hitters that they run out there, game after game, at bat after at bat. It's, you know, we talk about it. We're blessed to see it all the time with the talent they've got. But when you see it combined, one against the other, boy, there's a lot of great hitters in this group.
We still haven't seen Max Muncy yet playing an intra-squad game. Since he was hit in the first game by Alex Wood, the pitch on his left hand. Caleb Ferguson warming up in the bullpen to come in to replace Victor Gonzalez in the next inning. 3-2 to Justin Turner. Let's check in with Alana.
Guys, Max Muncy has been on a conditioning program, and in fact, he did take BP today with the guys. He certainly doesn't feel like the finger issue is impeding him much as far as swinging the bat is concerned. He's been able to do that pretty freely. Not getting in on defense as of yet, though. Dave Roberts still very confident, though, that he'll have plenty of time, enough ABs as well as enough defensive work to be the starting first baseman on opening day. All
right, 9 days away from opening day. Hopefully Muncy can be ready to go. to face Johnny Cueto and the San Francisco Giants. Johnny Cueto officially announced as the opening night starter for the Giants. Gabe Kapler making that official today. JT with a one-out walk here in the bottom of the third. It'll bring up Cody Bellinger. JT's walked for the second straight time. Cody Bellinger slashed a single the other way his first time up. And we'll get into this more in future games and also future pregame shows, Nomar, but you actually were saying before our game tonight that you like the setup that Cody Bellinger is going with right now. It is a bit of a new stance for him.
Yeah, I do like the setup. You know, there's just a slight alteration that he was making from last year, but at the same time, there is a difference between a mechanical change and also your mindset. So the mechanical change that he's done, I like the setup. As long as the mindset goes along with it, that is really a huge factor because your mind definitely and your mindset can affect the way your mechanics are.
And I love the aggressive hack on the very first strike, but now with 2 strikes, we saw him, especially the first half of last year, go to his Ichiro swing, just looking for contact.
Pitches upstairs 2-2. He said he made the change to his mechanics because he didn't like the results of the second half of last year. Still wound up hitting .263 in the second half of the season. Not everybody can maintain a .372 batting average for an entire season. Some guys can. That's a ground ball to short. McKinstry flipped for 1 and not in time to double up Belly.
Up in the zone, gets the barrel to it, got in on him just a little bit. But Kike may have, I don't know if he just kind of lost his footing or realized that Bellinger was going to be there easily. One thing is, if you get Kike's glove and matches Gavin Lux's shoes.
That's right.
So it's just
Goes with that stash he has, too.
yeah, it all works
I
together.
think anything goes with that mustache. Here's Jock Peterson, hit a 3-run bomb his first time up off of Mitchell White. As we take a look, a lot of power in that swing from Jock. That is deep up that pavilion in right field. A little crossover as he comes home. Breaking ball grounded into the shift. And Jock is thrown out for out number 3. Let's head to the 4th inning at Dodger Stadium. It is 4-2 in favor of the home team.
We're still uncertain where we're going to kind of put those guys, slot those guys, but we are, Alana, going to start with 5 starters.
And Clayton Kershaw will be the starter on opening day for the 9th time, a franchise record. He's going to be built up maybe close to 100 pitches by opening day. Alex Wood, Ross Stripling should be pretty close to that as well. You have Julio Urias, and then Walker Buehler's running a little bit behind schedule compared to some of the other guys. But, Orl, what do you think of the Dodgers sticking with that 5-man rotation to begin the season, even with a day off on that Monday?
You know, they've got a day off on day 5 of the season and day 10 of the season. They didn't need to do that, go with 5, but they've always been very careful with guys' arms, and probably here early in the season, even though it's a 60-game sprint, I think they're really worried about making sure that everybody's healthy and built up. So maybe they will allow Clayton to push himself, knowing he's on a 5-man rotation, maybe let him go 100, 110 pitches if that's what he's ready for. But then when he goes his 6 or 7 innings or 8 or 9 with that amount of pitches, they want him to get full rest. So it'll be interesting to see them get that extra day and to watch these guys develop.
And we know when there's a 26-man roster, you have to have at least 13 position players. When there's a 30-man roster, I think you can just make it all pitchers that are added to the other 4 spots, which would be 17 as we take a look at Kenley in the Dodgers bullpen. So we might see quite a few relievers to start the season as Kike Hernandez pops one up on the right side. Let's check in with Alana.
Guys, Walker Buehler has faced live hitting. He went 1+ in a live situation recently. Dave Roberts said the next time he'll go 2+ in that same type of simulated situation. He's a bit behind other guys. Dave Roberts assuring us that it has nothing to do with anything physical for Walker Buehler, just he took a little bit more time off and the downtime during that COVID period. He's good to go. He and Julio Urias a bit behind the other 3 starters, meaning Clayton Kershaw, Ross Stripling, Alex Wood.
As you look at putting together your rotation for a season, you see where your off days are. They're going to need the 5th starter twice, I think, in the first 18 games. So not a lot of work there for the 5th starter. Probably a bullpen or 2 out of that position. Plus, I wonder, as I look forward, I wonder if spring training and the duration of it may change down the road after what people are doing now to get ready for a season. I wonder if it gets shorter by a week or 2.
Will Smith is punched out on strikes. Caleb Ferguson gets him quickly 2 away here in the top half of the 4th inning. Caleb Ferguson taking over for Victor Gonzalez.
That's a pretty good comeback slider there by Ferguson.
That's the pitch he's been working on during the offseason. We saw it during the spring. He has added what is technically a slider, Jerry, but he wants to call it a cutter, because if he calls it a cutter, it reminds himself to throw it as hard as he can, because he already has that slower, bigger curveball, and he's been effective with it when we've seen it in games going back to Cactus League play.
It is amazing how athletes say something in their mind that will trigger performance. You know, like you mentioned, that slider, but he has to tell himself, throw it like a cutter, and you get that natural slide right there. Whatever works for you, find a way to get it done, and hopefully he's developed that pitch.
He's quickly ahead of Edwin Rios here 0-2. Misses with it there. 1-2, but we saw him pitch in 6 games during Cactus League play. Caleb Ferguson did not allow a run and did not walk anybody in those 6 games. Allowed just 1 hit.
When he first came on the scene, he was so impressive, you know, out of that bullpen. You know, I really believe he could be a starter in this league. He definitely has starter stuff, especially if he develops that slider, go with that curveball.
Misses upstairs 2-2, and that's what he told me at spring training of 2019 of last year. He admitted that he has to be able to throw a 3rd pitch if he wants to be a consistent starter at the big league level, and the slider just might be it for him. Back to the slower breaking ball right there to take care of Edwin Rios. A really good inning of work for Caleb Ferguson. Since the first inning, not a whole lot of offense. It's 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th. Blake Trinan takes over here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. His 3rd appearance in intra-squad games. Gave up a home run to Edwin Rios Wednesday, then a scoreless inning on Saturday. And will he be the bridge to get to Kenley Jansen? See a few different guys possibly in that role, but if he is throwing the ball well, as we saw 2 years ago, he is nasty on opposing hitters in 2018 with that 0.78 ERA. He finished 6th in the Cy Young voting. Remember, the Oakland A's is their closer. But the much talked about shoulder issues last year, lost his closer role and walked almost 6 batters per 9 innings. As Oral would tell you, when you have some shoulder problems, oftentimes the command becomes very tough. First pitch swinging there off the bat of Austin Barnes is a ground ball. Quickly 1 away.
And that's what you want to see right there, the movements. That heavy ball that Trinan has, running in on a right-handed batter, getting that ground ball. Confidence is so important. Obviously, health is the most important, but you want to be able to take the mound when healthy, like Trinan, and then start to see a little bit of results. Start seeing outs, weak contact. Once he starts seeing more of that, that confidence will come.
That turbo sinker, when he is on, it goes straight down. When it's going a little bit sideways, he might do that strategically, but going sideways is not quite there. That one right there, he gets a strike, he's up 0-1, but that's not the pitch that he really has. The one that goes straight down when he can get through with his shoulder. And what happens when you have shoulder surgery and you have shoulder issues is the caliber of your bullets, every time you go to throw the ball, seem to change. And that really messes with your timing, and it messes with your command. And so once that shoulder gets strong enough, it gets healthy enough that he gets used to it again, and the caliber of the bullet coming out of there is the same every time, that's when you'll see the command increase. There's a good one right there.
I think this is a great sign. A little bit of a gamble, but really with tremendous upside. The more pitchers, the more relief pitchers you have that have experience pitching the ninth inning, maybe the toughest inning of the game, the better your club is going to be. You've added somebody else to support Kenley Jansen. You've got Kelly, who can also support in that role. You've got a lot of different choices. I think you start to really take that 9-inning game and make it an 8-inning game, make it a 7-inning game. I love the potential for this sign.
And as all of you guys know, bullpens are so important, especially in October, but in a shortened season, Nomar, the importance of each of these games in a sprint of a season.
Well, I think they're going to be really important over the course of a shortened season, because you also don't know how much, and we just touched on, we talked about it earlier, how much your starter can really go. You know, Earl said how you can really help your bullpen is if your starters can go 5 or 6, and that can on a regular basis. Well, you just don't know that, so you really rely heavily on your bullpen. And obviously they are, I think baseball knows that, how important the bullpen is. That's why they're allowing you to expand, because you know what the wear and tear and what your expectations are in some of these arms, so to protect guys.
And Triton's very, very patient young man. He drove from Walla Walla, Washington to summer camp here. Took 2 days. Made sure that he got his mind right for the season.
Looking awfully strong here in the bottom of the fourth. Blake Triton works a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the fifth in a 4-2 game. Over here in the top half of the fifth inning, making his third appearance in intra-squad play. Home team up 4-2 thanks to the 2 home runs in the first inning. Mookie Betts' solo shot and then a 3-run bomb by Jock Peterson. And here we have Max Muncy getting an at-bat. We heard Dave Roberts say he will probably DH at some point during intra-squad games and not play the field quite yet because that left ring finger was still bothering him a little bit when he was catching the baseball, but that he felt pretty good swinging the bat and he was getting an opportunity.
Really good to see Max out there and see if his timing and everything is spot on. Oh, he's
Somebody made him laugh.
I go, his humor's there.
It's one thing when no crowd noise, now your teammates from the dugout can make you laugh. You hear them.
Scores begins fastball and he catches the bottom of the zone. Let's check in again with Alana.
You mentioned, guys, Max Muncy laughing because of a teammate saying something. Well, Corey Seager was actually also saying that he can't wait until they start pumping in crowd noise here because it also kind of messes up the competitive advantage when you're actually playing an opponent versus your own teammates. You know, there's an opportunity to be able to talk to one another, but they're also kind of sitting socially distant style, so they have to speak a little bit louder. And the other team can hear what you're doing as far as game planning and that competitive spirit. So he's looking forward to some more noise in this stadium.
Big rip right there, 2-1, Nomar. And we were talking about this before the show as well, as we see Kenley Jansen warming up, about to come in to pitch the next inning. But there's a lot of banter that goes on, communication that goes on between teammates, sometimes maybe between one side and maybe the opposing side as well, that you would hear a lot more now when there are no fans in the stands. So getting that crowd noise in there would at least drown out some of that.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're talking about, hey, bunt defenses. Hey, if you go, listen, if this guy decides to bunt, I remember there were guys who liked to, when I was playing first base, and they like to carry it with them, kind of going toward second base, or even if they push bunt, I would usually communicate, say, I'll cut it off, you come across, and they would hear that. They can understand what your strategy is. So there's a lot of different things. And then there are sometimes under your breath you might not like the call. And you say something like, oh, that's a strike, and you're maybe in the outfield, you're doing that, and then like the umpire's going to hear you for that as well. So the noise can't drown that out. So, yeah, that noise in the background definitely can drown out some of the things you say or inadvertently or want to.
I think it'll be a big help to have some noise pumped into it. Right now, it sounds like we're on the backfields at Camelback Ranch watching BP. And that's kind of the sound of it. That's what it usually comes out to be. You start pumping in some crowd noise, it will change it, especially when you're playing against a team that's trying to beat you.
I definitely needed that crowd noise when I was a player because I talked a lot of trash from the dugout and wouldn't be able to do that as often with the opponent hearing me.
Well, we think it's 3-2 now. We thought maybe that was ball 4. It's also Max Muncy's first chance to get an at-bat with the batter's eye being adjusted at least a little bit. He said when he was hit on the hand, he had a hard time seeing the ball coming out of Alex Wood's hand in that very first intra-squad game. That ball is ripped to right field. I think he's ready.
He saw that fine. Well, he had a swing and miss in this at-bat. I was going, man, his back is okay because of the big rip, and now we know that his eye-hand coordination is okay. He says, yeah, I'm good.
Yep, that's all he wanted. Just got an at-bat. Ghost runner at first.
But it's his finger, not his legs.
That's right.
Or maybe they just say, hey, listen.
You might get another at-bat this inning.
You want to hit again?
We saw that on Saturday. Or maybe it was Sunday with Gavin Lux. He's getting a couple of at-bats in the same inning. Oh, DJ Peters gets hit for the second time.
Man. Got that magnet tonight.
Yeah. Well, he's also a big guy, big target.
That's Chico getting a chance to run the bases.
Hey, now.
Nice.
Slowly but surely
Yeah,
now.
that's what I was thinking.
Slowly but surely, he's inching towards possibly an at-bat.
He's wearing Matt Beatty's helmet as well.
You know, the thing about DJ Peters, guys, is when he gains more contact, he's going to get a lot of balls inside. And I know his teammates are not trying to hit him tonight, but with that big body and that long swing at times, if he mixes in contact and that power, he's going to start wearing some armor, I'll bet.
Yeah, I can definitely see that because you do not want a guy as big as he is really extending those arms.
Yeah.
And the more he makes contact, Earl's right, they're going to say, we got to try to see if we can pound him in to keep him from extending them. And
Max Muncy, he is getting another at-bat, wasting no time to get back up there. It's one inside, 2-0. Wish we could do that back when Nomar was playing, just have you bat and then have someone else bat and then have you just come up again right away when the game's kind of...
You did that in the backfield.
The backfield.
Yeah, the backfield, right.
Like in a real game.
Oh, no. Well, like I said,
especially when someone's hot.
There was times later in my career, and there were times where I was going, gosh, I would love a ghost runner.
And he hits another one hard to the gap in right center. That's going to go all the way to the wall. Scoring Chico.
So he scored himself. That's impressive. Yeah. In the same inning, you hit a double and score yourself.
Does he get the run scored, or
Absolutely
does Chico
does.
get the run scored?
Run scored and RBI.
That is a bullet. So Max Muncy looks just fine. I guess he's seeing the ball okay. The hand seems to be fine. A couple of line drives for base hits.
I'm sure Swartz is very excited that Max Muncy got up twice this inning. He may get a chance to get up 3 times this inning.
There's Chico again. Chico again running for Max.
And if Muncy gets 2 more at-bats, he's on his way to hitting for the cycle this inning.
That would be impressive. Have you ever hit for the cycle in one inning?
He's got the single and the double out of the way already. Luke Raley's up there with 2 on. One and one to Raley. Well, Max Muncy coming into this year having just signed that 3-year contract during spring training. Not bad for a guy who was basically sitting on his couch an opening day of 2017 without a job.
Amazing.
Spores going upstairs there. 1-2 on Luke Raley. We missed the go get it out of the ocean bobblehead, though, that Max Muncy was going to have this season. First weekend of the regular season against the Giants. But he will get a chance to face Mad Bum again as Luke Raley skies one to left field. Jock Peterson is there. DJ Peters tags and scores, and Chico advances to third, running on Jock Peterson.
It's great heads-up base running right there, knowing the situation. Luke doing a great job making sure he gets that run in from third base on a sacrifice fly, but seeing the runner ahead of him tag from third, Chico decides to test Jock Peterson's arm, and he's successful.
I mean, he knows the scouting report as well. It's impressive.
You know what happens, Nomar, right here? You know, you look at lineups or you're in the playoffs and they do evaluations who has the best left fielder. Chico, without batting, he said, I've got the strongest arm in left field in this game.
That's a good point.
He's putting it to Jock.
I mean, the man can run, he can catch, he can throw. We just need to see if he can hit. Hashtag let Chico hit.
You got to be able to find out. Listen, with being the Dodgers franchise, you want to make sure you want to see and evaluate all types of players. And Chico has shown he can throw, like you said, John. Rocket for an arm, has range in the outfield. We're gonna see him getting at bat before this summer camp is over. That's gonna happen.
He's already got 3 tools, and if he can hit and then hit for power, he's a 5-tool guy. I mean, what more can you want?
Got to find out, right?
Infield drawn in here with Chico on third and 1 away, and Zach McKinstry at the plate. Facing Josh Spores. And Spores able to punch him out for the second out.
Good riding fastball right there by Spores.
McKinstry frustrated there, not able to get that run in. Here comes Kenley Jansen to pitch the bottom half of the 5th inning right after this. Kenley Jansen taking over here in the bottom of the 5th. We hear California Love blaring over the speakers. Kenley just reported to summer camp a few days ago after testing positive for COVID-19. He was open about it in his press conference after arriving at Dodger Stadium. Believes he caught it from his kids, both of his kids, or his kids were sick. Started playing catch a couple days after these symptoms subsided. And here he is making his first appearance in an intra-squad game with short hair as well.
He said he was able to stay in shape, get his workouts in, get his throwing in.
And we know he worked awfully hard during the offseason. Started throwing shortly after the Dodgers lost to the Washington Nationals. Let's check in with Oral.
You know, you're not rooting for either side, but I'm really rooting for Kenley here. The hitters all look really good, and I would love to get our closer off on the right foot.
Whew.
That's an out.
It is a loud out off the bat of Mookie
One pitch,
Betts.
one out, stay hot.
As Nomar would say, those are the perfect at-bats in an intra-squad game or spring training game.
He's had a couple of them. He got robbed by Chico in left field. He's got a home run, and then he's got a line out. Gosh. You asked me the other day, John, when he hit that first home run, you're like, could one home run like that or hit like that kind of turn things around? And I said, oh, yeah. You can all of a sudden find it, and he has hit everything hard since then.
Yeah, Corey Seager's been hitting everything hard, pretty much every at-bat of intra-squad play, or so it seems. Lined out to left his last time up. Kenley, we saw him normally. He slow plays it a bit during spring training and doesn't pitch in as many Cactus League games. He pitched in 6 games, had 11 strikeouts in those 6 appearances. Looked awfully good. And he's quickly ahead of Seager 0-2.
And 2 perfect pitches right there to Corey Seager. Working that outer half.
And he takes care of Corey Seager on 3 pitches.
That's got to give you confidence. You're facing the hottest hitter in camp in Corey Seager. You get him in 3 pitches. You can throw 2 beautiful strikes on the outer half, and then you hit your spot up in the zone.
Yeah. Well, he said during spring training he had a hamstring problem in 2018, which created some bad habits, and he believes those bad habits crept into 2019 as well. So he went to Driveline in Seattle. He really wanted to work at getting back to his all-star form, and he said everything felt synced up during the spring. And he has seemed like a guy who is on a mission here in 2020. Looks good so far tonight. Facing Justin Turner right now, throwing a breaking ball there to JT. And with a skied to shallow right field, Luke Raley comes in. A nice, clean 1-2-3 inning for Kenley Jansen. He looks like he wants to stay out on the mound and face another hitter. I guess it was about 6 pitches. He wants to throw a little more. So Cody Bellinger will bat. Here in the bottom of the 5th, and a 4-4 tie. Good matchup here. Cody Bellinger swings at the first pitch. The shift was on, so McKinstry has a run a long way into foul ground. He makes the catch. 4 outs on 8 pitches, and that's going to be it for Kenley Jansen's night. We'll be back right after this in a 4-4 tie at Dodger Stadium. Kenley Jansen just saw his first action here in Intrasquad play, faced 4 batters, and he retired all 4, getting a strikeout of Corey Seager, a couple pop-outs as well. And here's Max Muncy checking in again, getting his 3rd at-bat in about the last 15 minutes. Single, double, RBI, facing Josh Spores once again. There's the first from Spores, misses downstairs. Here's Max Muncy in the last inning. Getting an at-bat, lined a single to right field off of Spores, and then came up 2 batters later, hit one to the gap in right center field. Brought in a run. Here he is again. Called strike.
You love these inter-squad games, or you know, in regular spring training, you have those backfields where you can get a lot of at-bats. Muncy's 3rd at-bat in 2 innings. You'd love to see that.
What's interesting is, you know, we're talking about they're getting ready to play other competition except for each other. And we're still like kind of just spring training games prior to the season really opening. You can't do this in those types of games. Like I said, that's another benefit. You're going, okay, is there a benefit to these intra-squad games compared to going against other teams? I said there are. Because, let's say a guy's injured like Max Muncy, and you wanted to get extra at-bats. You can throw him in there multiple times.
Boy. Goes the other way and hits it well. Jock Peterson back on the track. Able to make the catch. Max Muncy gave it a ride.
And a guy like, excuse me, John, and a guy like Kenley Jansen requesting another batter.
Right.
You know, you can request another batter, obviously, in these intra-squad games. The guys getting their work in.
So 1 out in the top half of the 6th inning. Rocky Gale getting an at-bat here. Nine days away from opening night.
We'll never forget the night Rocky Gale broke up that no-no.
Yeah, an intra-squad game.
Tell you what, clutch knock by Rocky.
Rocky Gale flies to right field. Mookie Betts has it for out number 2. 2 away for Kike Hernandez. Reached base in 2 of his 3 plate appearances tonight. A walk and a double. And we don't know if there is going to be a bottom half of the 6th inning. We were only shown 3 names on the visitor side to pitch tonight, and all 3 have thrown now, with Kenley Jansen working the last inning.
Maybe Chico can pitch.
We have yet to see that from him. We know he can throw a baseball pretty well. Swing and a miss from Kike. It's 0-2.
Good slider there by Spores. Good movement.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's throwing in the pen to come in. The rake's out. That's called strike 3. Kike Hernandez. We're going to break. Will we have a bottom of the 6th, or will they call the game? We'll find out together right after this. Five and a half innings they played tonight at Dodger Stadium. Looking at some video right now, some of the hitters maybe perhaps looking at their at-bats, but it's a 4-4 tie at the Ravine in this intra-squad game. Let's head out to Dodger Stadium. Some final thoughts from Alana Rizzo.
All right, John, thanks very much. Yep, Randy Newman's I Love LA is playing. So we are done here at Chavez Ravine. Some final thoughts for me. It's great to have the 26-man roster here and 1 shy of the 40-man roster. A.J. Pollock is in camp. Kenley Jansen is in camp. Kenley Jansen looked fantastic in his outing. 4 outs on 8 pitches. Max Muncy getting some ABs. He already looks locked in despite that finger issue. It's good to have almost the entire gang back together.